Hi, Nina Sapala here. This is a place to talk about spiritual personality typing. This week on the blog, I'm going to ask you a question. Is your fashion sense authentic? So let's get into what I mean by that. Oh, and before we go on, what do you think? Do you like my new readers? They're 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 brown, but they in the store they look kind of maroonish brown. Let me know in the comments. I'm an ENTP, so I get bored with stuff. So I have to have like new little things going on. And I do it in my life, and I do in fashion, I do in my home, I do in my travel. It, my essential trait follows me everywhere. And we're going to get into that about your fashion sense. And I've got a great example of a friend of mine that I coach, and what happened when she kind of is, we're looking at this stuff from a very different vantage point that we typically look at it, that we've been typically conditioned by it. So let's take a look at that. So let's ask the question again: is your fashion sense authentic? So what do I mean by that? Well, when you put something on, do you feel good about what you're putting on? And do you feel confident? And I think beyond just feeling confident, I think like, do you feel giddy? Like, does it feel like really good? Do you feel like I can conquer whatever? You know, how are you feeling about it? How does it make you feel? Does it make you feel honest? Do you feel like, yeah, this is so me? Like, I love this. Like, have you ever been in the store and like, oh my God, that is so me? So I think that's part of what I want to get into. And I think why you tell yourself that, like you feel that, let's erase tell yourself, you feel that is because it's your personality type, like igniting. It's that essential self. And when I talk about your essential self, I'm talking about your primary trait. Your primary trait is a trait that's in a what they call a functional stack. And it's the one that you use the most. So your functional stack, real easy, is just it's more four trait. Let's just do it this way because I don't want to get into all that right now. Your functional stack is just how you use your traits, which makes up your persona. So when I say your essential self, that's the primary trait. That's the trait that leads everything. That's the trait. That's why I call it's essential to you. Okay? It supports your soul self. I'm going to say this again. It supports your soul self. Your soul cannot express itself in the world without your personality type. Your soul cannot express itself in the world without your personality type. I say that a lot because I want you to get it, okay? So bear with me. So, okay, let's start looking at this. So let's talk about, so when you put something on, how are you feeling? Does it zhuzh you up? You feel like, yeah, I look good, you know? And I'm just going to point a couple things out about myself. Like, I like pearls. The reason I like pearls is because, well, they're sustainable first. And you're just, there's something that you don't have to drill into a mountain for. It's just not disruptive to the environment. It's a naturally occurring jewelry to me. It's naturally occurring. Pearls are naturally occurring. Now this here, I was telling a friend of mine about that. She's like, you always have some kind of beads on. I'm like, I know, I love beads. And again, they're like more naturally occurring. These are just little pink topaz beads. It's just a naturally occurring cut. They're just little cut beads. They're not perfect. They have a little veins in them and so forth. They're not heat sensorized or any of that stuff. Okay, so it's just natural. So I kind of tend to be more boho and natural with my personality type and my style. I love t-shirts. I've always loved t-shirts, and I've always loved pants. It's just who I am. And boy, did I get in trouble with that when I was in the corporate world. She's showing up in a pantsuit? Yeah. Now, this is a while ago, guys, but I got shit for that. I was like, really? Anyhow, that's a whole nother story. But once you start getting into your personality type, that essential self, it helps you define your style. So here's another question I'm going to ask you. Are you letting the supposed gurus tell you how to dress, tell you what to wear, tell you what glasses to pick, earrings, necklaces, watches, shoes, whatever? Are you? And today it's gotten really bad. Like when I was growing up, we just had, the magazines and pretty much magazines and television. Now it's like this explosive, barrage of information 24/7. Look at this influencer. Look at this person's doing. She just launched this new lipstick line. Everyone has to have it. Do we? This is what we want to look at. And is that being authentic? And why that matters is I'm going to share a story with you why that matters so much, because it does matter. It really does matter. Okay. Let's get into something else first, and then I'm going to go back and I want to share a story. So like I said, I was scanning this Vogue magazine article, I was like, oh, this is cool. She's cool. And I just usually, most people are just scanners today, which we're not reading. But this is what stopped me. Because Vogue magazine, the writer asked, what would you say to somebody who wants to learn to express themselves authentically? Great question, right? What would you say to somebody? And this is what she says. Oh my God, and this is why I love her. First, they have to find themselves. Oh my God. Yes, yes, yes. And then she went on. I know there's more stuff in the blog you can look at. But yes, and it's we do have to find ourselves. We have to figure out who the hell we are. You got to tap into your personality type, that essential self, because that essential self is going to tell you, oh, this is more my style. This is more my style. Oh, I like this better on me. And you just feel more comfortable in your own skin using that style because it already is a part of you. See what I'm getting at? So it just feels more natural. It just feels more natural. I've never been a gal that's going to show up in 10-foot heels. Never. Ever. Ever. I'm just not that girl. There are ladies out there that will. And I'm like, damn, I don't know how you wear that. And they're like, oh, I feel comfortable in these. I'm like, I'd be falling, I'd be tripping. There's no way. There's just no way. But I'm telling you, now I love kitten heels because I can manage those, right? So there's some things I'll do and some things I won't, but I just know myself. And here's the story I want to share with you. It's really awesome. So I work with a friend of mine. She's a good friend, and we get into really in-depth discussions about personality typing. We're both on a spiritual journey. We are helping ourselves, holding hands, walking ourselves through our journey. A lot of time the questions are going to come back to personality typing. Now, she is an ENFJ, which I call those the magnetic personalities because they're very magnetic. They're like networkers extreme. They're very harmonious. I mean, they can come in the room and collect everybody together and get everybody on the same page and create this very harmonistic feeling in the room, right? So she called and I was asking you, like, how was your weekend, blah, blah. And it was great because she's like, I've really been getting in to like how I feel about something when I put it on. That one thing, I swear to God, will change how you show up in the world. It'll change what you put on your body, how you choose things, to purchase things. And I'm telling you, that energy creates a totally different outcome. Here's what happened to her. She says, you know what, Nina, I put on this outfit, the first outfit, and I was like, I'm just really not feeling it. And I'm like, okay, so then what'd you do? And she goes, I tried another one on. I go, and? She goes, wasn't feeling it. I'm like, and? She goes, then I put this one on. And she goes, it just felt so good. So I just wore it. And she goes, it's something that I'm kind of going down this path. I'm getting more retro, like flower power, flowers, big flowers. She goes, and I never would have worn that. She goes, I was always very self-conscious of myself. And she goes, now that I'm stepping into it, she goes, I really like it. And I said, so tell me what happened. She goes, well, it made me feel really, really good when I put it on. I'm like, awesome. So tell me what happened, right? And she goes, the funniest thing is when I went out, I felt so good. And she goes, everything just clicked. I think because my energy was so high, because I felt so good with what I had on, it was just great. Like, I met this really cool person, and then me and my husband had like met this other couple. We had a drink with them, and then I went to this booth and I got this really cool crystal. Everything just kind of flowed, and I met this really cool bartender, and we were talking, and I'm gonna catch up with her. Like, we exchanged phone numbers. We had such a great talk, and I'm like, right, because what happened what happened? Where did this start? And she goes, you know what? Because I just cared enough about myself that I wanted to walk out of the house feeling great. I wanted to take the time, walk out of the house, and feel really good with what I chose to wear. I'm like, exactly. I said, and we even unconsciously don't even think about this, because we'll put something on. We're like, yeah, that's good enough. And we don't think about it, which is what we do 90% of the time. I'm just saying, I'm with you. I do it. I'm trying to be more conscious. That's how we evolve. That's how personal development happens. We have to be conscious. We have to work at it every day. We have to think about things every single second. Be in that moment. And if you're in that moment feeling really good, that means you're already connected in divine intelligence. So that's what happened to her. So she went out and she felt really good. And so she didn't have this self-doubt. Okay, so imagine that you walk out and you're like, yeah, this is okay, it was okay, And so you start to have self-doubt. What happens? You start having self-doubt, you start expressing self-doubt. And then you start doubting yourself. And then that's how you go into your day. Let's flip that around. And I know people are busy. I know people have kids and they're just busy. I get that. Get up 5 minutes earlier. You got to work on it somehow. We just can't excuse this stuff away, because then we keep on showing up in life like that. And then we're like, why am I here? And I'm not telling you any stuff that didn't happen to me, because it happened to me. That's why I'm telling you this. I showed up and I'm just like, how the hell did I get here? Well, it was the tiny little decisions I didn't make along the way. I didn't take the time to feel really good about what I was wearing. And ENTPs, I'm in my head all the time. So like what I show up with, it's just usually, I am very eclectic though. And people always comment on my eclectic style. And I don't know if that's a compliment or like a critique. I don't really care, honestly. At this stage of my life, I don't care. I don't. But I did, and again, my sense of style comes from my mother. She had the best sense of style. She just would always show up. So she's so Coco Chanel. Like she would just bring it. If she was going to church, she'd go in the grocery store, she would bring it. She would bring it. So, I kind of had learned that from her, which kind of helps, because my personality type doesn't really lend itself to, getting into that much detail and so forth. It just doesn't. But I've learned that about myself, But if I didn't take the time to learn that, if you're not taking the time to learn about yourself, I'm telling you, this essential self and your personality type traits, it affects everything you do. From travel, to what you wear, to how you decorate your house. It just affects you. It affects everything. So it's really important to get into that and start understanding that. And I'm going to give you an exercise this week. I want you to comment, email me, nina@ninazapala.com. Email me, nina@ninazapala.com, and let me know if you do this. I want you this week not to look in the mirror, right? Don't look in the mirror. Because what happens is when we look in the mirror, we will find something we don't like about ourselves. It's just how we're wired. So don't look in the mirror. Don't look in the mirror. Get dressed. Now, I know you have to put your makeup on and stuff. So put your makeup on or whatever you do first. You can tell I don't wear a lot of makeup. So again, ENTP. But put your makeup on first. if you can, but I don't want you to look in the mirror. And here's why. The exercise why is because you're going to have something that you don't like about yourself. That just plants those seeds of self-doubt, those seeds of less confidence. And then you leave the house and you go out in the world like that. And then your self-doubt leads to you have self-doubt in how you express yourself. Then you have self-doubt in how you're showing up. And it just leads to this really negative cycle. And that's just what you're wearing. I know, think about that. And that's just the clothes you're putting on. I'm not even getting into the stories that are already in your head, that somebody said, oh, you're too chunky, or you're fat, or you're this. Sorry, I'm getting bit by mosquitoes. Damn those mosquitoes. Do you know what I mean? Or you should look more like this. Or why don't you do this? People have told you these narratives that don't belong to you. And then when you look in the mirror and you start telling yourself those same narratives, then you leave the house feeling not so good about yourself. And maybe I'd see him like, man, you look hot, you look killer. And you're like, yeah, well, And if somebody does give you a compliment, please accept the compliment and just say thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to notice. That's it. Or just say thank you. And inside you could say, wow, they took the time to notice, what I put on today. The thought behind what I put on. So yeah, it's just, if you start thinking about that, it's really cool, right? It just totally flips how we think about ourselves. And then I'm gonna pull up one more quote here. I think she's got great quotes. And I gave a link to her Instagram on my blog. Sorry, I thought I had one more quote from her. Maybe I don't. Oh, now listen to this, and this makes sense. So, she goes, the key to style is learning who you are, which we just talked about, right? Which takes years. It doesn't have to. This is what I'm saying. It does not have to. There's no how-to roadmap to style. It's about self-expression, right? How you're feeling. We talked about self-expression, so there's no doubtful self-expression. You're feeling good, so it's positive self-expression. And above all, attitude. Well, because when you're feeling good about yourself, you kind of do have that attitude, like, I'm feeling hot. And it's not like you're being arrogant or selfish or you think you're being conceited. No, you just feel good. You feel good about yourself. I'm feeling good, man. I look good in this. I like it, And that's what happened to my friend. And so and she's harmonizing to begin with. So then she just magnetized the room wherever she went. She just did. And she's like, it felt so good. And so she had the greatest day. We put in some thought into how she was feeling about herself when she put her clothes on. Whoa. I know. Well, who tells us to do this stuff? We're told to buy stuff. We're not told, it's like, well, how's it going to make you feel? So, Iris, Anna Wintour, Vogue, who else? Kim Kardashian. Can they really tell you what you should be wearing? No, no one can tell you that. Because they don't know your personality type. They're jabbing on what's good for them, which is awesome. So if you're their personality type, cool. That gives you some clues. But still, it doesn't give you your whole story, because you've had life experiences on top of it. You have stories that have been implanted in you that probably need to get rid of, a lot of them. Your parents, peers, schools, business. I mean, I know I was told all the time to show up, like, you gotta be a hitter. Like, what the hell does that mean? Like, I have to hit people? That's such a male thing. You gotta be a hitter. For what? You need to sit at the big boys table. Why? My ideas are valuable no matter where I'm sitting. you know, but that's this very old school patriarchal way we've been taught. We need to start leaving that behind and start thinking about our own self-expression, who we are. What is your true self telling you? Because your true self is in alignment with that soul, your soul self. That's your spark of divine. That true self is the spark of divine within. And your soul's here on a mission. Everybody here has a soul mission. Everybody. Large or small, does not matter. We all contribute to the collective. We all contribute to the collective. So, how are you showing up? Is your fashion style authentic? Is it authentic to who you really are? I just wanted to write this one because that Vogue article really inspired me to think further about this, to think further about what I'm teaching and how I'm trying to help people get further and further and further anchor themselves into who they are, into your true self. I'm telling you, life becomes more bearable. You can withstand a lot of stuff when you're standing in your truth. Other people might not want to hear it. That's okay. That just lets you know you're being truthful about yourself. So, are you being authentic with your fashion sense? Or are you letting fashion editors and influencers and models and celebrities dictate what you should wear, what you should buy? I don't think you should do that. My 2 cents. You might have a favorite style icon. I love Coco Chanel from the 50s. I mean, that stuff was just so iconic and so classic. But see, my style is kind of classic with something that's just off a little bit. You know, and I guess that's where that boho side of me comes in. You know, I like classic, but there's something that's got to be a little off. Like I could be wearing something very classic, then I have these really crazy bright shoes on or something crazy like that. So that's my style, and I know that. You know, and it took me a while to work on it because I didn't have the tools that I'm giving you right now. It doesn't have to take you years to establish your style. It could take you a week. Get into your essential self, learn about it, and then you'll know. It's so much fun that way. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this. This is just a little fun one. We need some fun in the world. The world is crazy right now, so I think we need some fun stuff, and fashion is always fun. Make it fun, you know? And if you're more serious type, good, make it serious. Get like really serious. Like, show up like really serious. That's okay too, you know? It's okay. Just be you, whatever that is, all right? More in the blog, and if you like this, please subscribe, like, and share this with somebody that you think would benefit from it. I appreciate you all so much for taking the time for being here with me today. All right. Have a great one.